Authorities are still searching for a Windsor couple who have not been seen in days. 50-year-old Bart Halderson and his wife, 53-year-old Krista, were supposed to travel north last week and return home on Tuesday.
But their son tells Tony Galley his parents' whereabouts are unknown.
Bart and Krista Halderson of Windsor had plans for the 4th.
Their plans were going up with their friends and do some minor repairs on our cabin.
That cabin is some 3 hours away from Windsor on a lake in a small community in Langlade County.
Did you literally see them pulling out of the driveway heading out?
No.
Their son, Chandler Halderson, who asked to be off camera, says whoever his parents were traveling with from this neighborhood were to do the driving. He says he received a text from his mother.
She got back to me on Sunday, said they made it safely.
That's the last he's heard from his parents. Neighbor Brett Schuster's reaction to the Haldersons' disappearance.
Wow. You know, my wife is pretty shook up too. I mean, they're a very nice couple, very nice family.
Detectives now go door to door here. While sheriff's personnel here in Dane County are checking for any and all information, the missing couple's son says law enforcement in Langlade County has checked on the family's cabin there. And he says that visit only adds to the mystery.
The sheriff said it looked like there wasn't anyone home.
Family and friends hope the Haldersons' unexpected extended time away is just that, and not a sign they're in trouble. In Windsor, Tony Galley, 27 News.
A person who works with Krista Halderson says she's missed at least one workday without calling in, and they said this is completely out of character for her.
The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Please remove all small children from the area. Viewer discretion is advised.
Amidst the serene backdrop of Windsor, Wisconsin, the Halderson family, led by Bart and Krista, cradled the illusion of a tranquil existence. Their picturesque life unfolded in a beautiful home, sheltering the aspirations of their two sons. Mitchell, 24, immersed in the world of technology, eagerly anticipated marriage, while Chandler, 23, pursued an IT degree at Madison College, envisioning a promising future at SpaceX. Chandler's dreams, adorned with promises of a Floridian rendezvous and a career with Elon Musk's empire, suffered a cataclysmic blow in June 2021. After a sudden fall down the stairs, Chandler would suffer a traumatic head injury that subsequently caused nerve damage so severe it derailed the trajectory of his idyllic future. Despite Chandler and his girlfriend Catherine meticulously planning to embark on their journey as a young couple, it seemed as if they couldn't catch a break within the waves of bad news doctors continued to unleash upon them. Merely dismissing Chandler's misfortune as mere bad luck would be grossly inadequate. But not for the empathic reasons you'd initially think. Chandler had planned it all, just as a puppet master plans his show. However, this show didn't turn out as planned. Only in the aftermath of Chandler's parents' demise did the veneer of normalcy shatter. It was amidst the echoes of grief that the veil concealing Chandler's elaborate charade was lifted, exposing his tapestry of deceit. What had seemed like a seamless life led with excellence and perfection, complete with tales of academic pursuits, a part-time role at American Family Insurance, contributions to the DNR police dive team, and employment with SpaceX, crumbled beneath the weight of its own fiction. Each lie, once woven into the fabric of his supposed reality, unraveled in synchrony, revealing a nightmarish tale of shattered illusions. This is the story of Chandler Halderson, arguably the most prolific pathological liar of our time. The story truly starts with a well-meaning, justifiably concerned father making a phone call to his son's college in order to end the monotony of the perpetual runaround his son Chandler was receiving from the school's administration. Chandler, or Chaz, a student at Madison College, had been studying renewable resource engineering and was soon due to graduate. However, the school would not provide Chandler with a copy of his transcript nor a copy of his solar certificate, and his father, Bart, was going to get to the bottom of it. If only he hadn't had a sneaking suspicion that his son was being untruthful about the entire situation, when Omar Job, a Madison College representative, informed him that Chandler was never admitted into any programs at all. In fact, Chandler had only taken general education classes and wasn't anywhere near receiving an IT degree, as Bart had been led to believe. Bart's increasing suspicion only prompted him to ask more questions.
Does the internship from the spring show up in there?
Entrance from the spring of what year? I can go back.
Oh, this year, 2021. Or winter. Yeah, you do spring.
No.
Does those normally show up in there?
Yes, if the internship is part of the curriculum, yes.
Do you have an Alyssa Brandt that works in that area or anywhere in the campus?
What is the last name?
B-R-A-N. I think it's T or D-T.
You said the first name is Alyssa?
Alyssa? Yeah, A-L-Y-S-S-A.
No. All the branch. There's no Alyssa with all the last names that up there.
And does that check non-teachers and everything? It would be anybody on campus that works here?
There will be anybody on campus. The directory will have anybody on campus.
Okay. How about, does Daniel Spice still work there? His last name is Spice, yeah, it's, trying to get the proper spelling. No, S-P-E-I-T-H.
You said S-P-E-I-T-H. I-T-H. No, it's not so, no.
Okay, that should do it then. Okay, thank you for your help.
Right, you're welcome.
In August of 2020, Chandler initiated a deceptive scheme by catfishing his father, Bart. Operating under the aliases of Alyssa Brent and Daniel Spithe, Chandler posed as college administration officials, which prompted Bart to seek verification of their employment after repeated broken appointments, only to discover that neither Alyssa Brent nor Daniel Spithe were legitimate employees of the college. This revelation likely stirred intense emotions within Bart, considering the numerous emails he had received from these non-existent individuals. Bart soon realized that Chandler had meticulously crafted the names, email addresses, titles, and personalities of these fictional characters. The situation took an even more unsettling turn when Bart, recalling a phone conversation with Daniel Spithe, shared with his wife Krista that it seemed eerily similar to Chandler's manner of speaking, leading to a complex and emotionally charged situation that would force Chandler to confront his truth.
The parents were starting to grow suspicious. And we knew this because when we searched the house, we started to find notes on Bart Halderson's desk. Bart Halderson was one of these guys who prints his emails. I don't know if any of you print your emails, but some people, they get an email and they print it out. That was Bart. We find one. It's an email between Bart and Krista, detailing a conversation that he had had with Chandler's advisors at MATC. Supposed to meet with someone else, so we met with this guy, Daniel Spithe. Chandler's going to get a solar certificate. He wasn't. He's registered for fall classes. He wasn't. He's in the IT program. He wasn't. All of these things, line by line, none of them true. But Bart Halderson talked to this person. So police honed in on something. That line. When I talked to the advisor, he sounds just like Chaz on the phone. And he gives this number. That is, of course, because Bart Halderson, when he talked to Chandler's college advisor, was just talking to Chandler, who had bought a burner phone, cheap phone from like Walgreens that you can buy with no service carrier. And police know that because they searched Chandler's bedroom. And in his desk drawer, they found that phone.
Chandler invested considerable effort in orchestrating a meticulous plan to shield the truth from discovery. The primary function of Chandler's catfishing endeavors was to create interference between his parents and Madison College, ensuring the perpetual unavailability of essential documents through the artful manipulation of meeting schedules and a facade of incompetence. Interestingly, this was merely one facet of Chandler's intricate scheme. Simultaneously, he executed a second ruse, leveraging catfishing techniques to persuade his parents that he held a lucrative position at the American Family Insurance Company with an impressive pre-graduation salary of $61,000. However, a persistent issue with Chandler's payroll created a hindrance, preventing him from receiving his paycheck. Despite this, the company consistently demonstrated goodwill by communicating with Chandler's father, elucidating each payroll hiccup. Regrettably, Chandler remained unable to fulfill his financial responsibilities within the family, prompting Bart to intervene on Chandler's behalf once again to rectify the situation.
Talk to me about email 20. If you could just, we have to read it into the record, of course. So I'll just say that it was on June 11th, 2021. The subject was HR. What did that email read?
Did you email HR to inquire about your paycheck? Unless there is something that you are not telling us, they have had ample time to pay you. Bart Halderson.
And that was from Bart to Chandler.
That's correct.
Email 19 on June 11th, 2021. The subject read HR. From Chandler to Bart, could you read the response essentially?
I added him to my room queue, so hopefully soon.
Again, on the same day, we have email number 18. The subject is payment, and it's from Chandler to someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com. Could you read the body of that email?
Good afternoon. My name is Chandler Halderson. I was recently made aware of you taking my case. Can I have an explanation of why I haven't been paid yet? Thank you, Chandler.
And then if you look at the time on this one, it's 8:49:35. But shortly after that, on June 11th, obviously we're adding that 5 hours. So June 11th, 2021, Mr. Selznick, someone named Tom Selznick at protonmail.com, emails Chandler Halderson in response. What does he say?
Hi, Chandler. I was given your case on Tuesday. However, I have contacted your payroll company and have determined a few issues. 1, you are registered as salary, however, you are making an hourly wage. 2, for 2 months, the payroll company saw your name and dues as a clerical error. Unfortunately, you have been making $25 an hour when your salary states you should be making $61,000 annually. This is around a $10,000 difference annually. When I get in contact with payroll, I will show them exactly when you were switched and find out why there was a delay on your dues. Have a great rest of your Friday. Tom Selznick. Tom Selznick, Northeast Remote Human Resources Manager.
Good morning. Could you please state your first and last name for the record and spell both?
Lori Snapp, LORISNAPP.
How are you employed, Ms. Snapp?
I work for American Family Insurance.
And what is your title?
Employee Relations Manager.
And sometime this summer or into the fall, were you contacted by Dane County Sheriff's Office in connection to this case?
Yes, I was.
And in particular, did they ask you to research whether or not Chandler Halderson was ever employed by American Family?
Yes, they did.
And what did you find out?
I found no record of that person working for American Family.
What about as one of their contractors? Did you research that?
I did as well, and we found no record of that person working as a contractor.
Did they also have you research whether or not Tom Selznick was ever an employee of American Family?
Yes, they did.
And was he ever an employee or a contract employee?
No.
Do any of your employees, as their official email, have a Proton Mail account?
No.
What is like the tag or the ending of the emails from American Family Insurance?
At amfam.com.
And how are your employees paid? Weekly, monthly, every 6 months, something else?
Biweekly.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
The story took a harrowing turn on July 2nd, 2021, when Krista failed to appear at work, sparking concern from her friend Daniel Croninger. Attempting to unravel the mystery, Croninger ventured to the Halderson residence, encountering Chandler, who claimed his parents had embarked on a familial retreat to their cabin. As the days unfurled and Bart and Krista remained absent from both work and home, unease settled in. Daniel Croninger, sensing a dissonance in Chandler's narrative, implored him to seek police assistance. And on July 7th, 2021, facing detectives from the Dane County Sheriff's Office, Chandler spun a tale involving an unknown couple chauffeuring his parents to the family cabin in Langlade County. Simultaneously, detectives explored the veracity of Chandler's account. While canvassing the last known locations Chandler had visited, detectives saw vultures hovering above the woods near the farm of Chandler's girlfriend's family farm. The birds' activities led to the discovery of human remains, a male torso that would later be linked through DNA analysis to Chandler's father, Bart Halderson. This revelation altered the course of the investigation, intensifying suspicions surrounding Chandler, and he was brought in for questioning on the same day of the horrid discovery. However, before detectives could call Chandler, he called them seemingly nervous and concerned.
A little confused. I got 2 squads parked right outside my house, and they're not really canvassing. They're just kind of sitting there. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the area doing canvassing, and they're also probably doing a shift change right now, getting our second shift crew on around 3:30.
Oh, there's 4 now. Something going on that we need to know?
Well, they're probably doing reports. They're probably doing shift change. You know, they've been going around trying to get a hold of neighbors, so I'm wondering if they're in the area trying to catch people now that they're coming home from work. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to any of them in just a little while.
All right. Well, any news with my brother? I haven't heard from him.
No, as far as I know, they're still on their way up north. A couple-hour drive, so he's probably halfway into it, right?
Yeah, I suppose about.
Yeah. Any news on your end at all? Have you gotten any phone calls, text messages?
Gotten any messages other than from concerned parents.
Okay.
I can't, there's no mail. There's a hold on my mail.
Okay.
Is that normal? Are you guys getting it at least?
No, we don't put a hold on people's mail. I've never heard of that happening before.
There's a hold on my mail. There's a ticket in there. All mail held at the station is what it says.
Okay. Yeah, nothing done by us, that's for sure.
Because I'm going to need my medical bills.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't put a hold on people's mail, and typically only the people that live at the address can do that. Did your parents put a hold on the mail? Does it say who put the hold on the mail?
I can go check, I suppose.
Okay.
Do you know of anything? So, I don't know. It's kind of stressful. Sorry, so there's nothing new going on?
Not that I'm aware of.
Alright.
Yeah. Who's there? Are you at home still right now, obviously? Because you're saying they're outside. Who's there with you?
Yeah, no, they're not with me. They're just 4 squads just parked outside.
Okay. Who was just talking in the background, Kat?
Yeah, Kat's over with me.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I mean, I can definitely give you a call or message you, I guess, depending. What time are you planning on going to dinner?
I'm not sure, but
Okay.
pretty soon here.
Is it cool to call you?
Hoping to hear from. What was that?
Is it cool to call you while you're at dinner? Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. Well, I'll keep you posted if I hear anything. I mean, obviously with the mail, that has nothing to do with us at all. I've never heard of a detective or law enforcement agency holding somebody's mail. You know, and then as far as everybody in the area, you know, you kind of had to figure we were going to be in the area all day today.
Yeah, I was just wondering why there were 4 cars instead of the canvassing.
Yeah.
Oh, any news about that blue house with the big cameras?
The blue house with the big cameras. Is that the one across the street?
Yeah, across the street, kind of in the corner. It's a newer house.
I haven't talked to...
I stopped by their house.
Yeah, I have a detective that's getting footage from the area. I don't know exactly which houses he's gotten video from yet. But yeah,
Sounds like they downloaded all of it and already have it at IT.
Oh, okay. So he's probably reviewing it now.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes time to go through those things. You figure you can only fast forward so much.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you a holler if anything pops up. You know, and I'll give a call around and just kind of get a briefing from people up in the area.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, Chandler.
Thank you.
Bye.
In the face of escalating scrutiny from detectives regarding the inconsistencies in his narrative, Chandler opted to remain silent, refusing to address the probing questions. Swiftly invoking his right to legal representation, he requested the presence of a lawyer. Subsequently, he found himself apprehended on charges encompassing murder, dismemberment, and the concealment of a human body. The unsettling ambiguity surrounding the whereabouts of Krista Halderson persisted, prompting authorities to earnestly appeal to the community for assistance. A pivotal breakthrough materialized as Catherine Melander, Chandler's girlfriend, unwittingly supplied investigators with a trove of case-defining information.
So before you said that the dogs are more comfortable with you than Mitch's fiance, Caitlin, just because you're around more?
Yeah, I'm there almost all the time. Like,
okay.
I hang out with him and his parents. Like I told you how I wasn't over for 2 weeks pretty much, but I was still there having root beer floats with them that one time. I cooked them Mexican traditional food before because my mom's an immigrant. I'm just there often. If I'm not there, he's hanging out with me, and maybe we won't hang out 2-3 days a week. It's very variant. It depends on if we're doing stuff with our families or if we have other plans. But like I said, I played Mario Kart with his mom and dad. Hang out with them sometimes, just have dinner with them.
So what was the whole 2-week thing? Why weren't you allowed?
The owing money thing.
So how did that come about? Why was that a big deal? Because I thought yesterday you said that he's owed for rent and Christmas presents and stuff like that. So why was it
those 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Because he was working for American Family at the time. And there was problems with HR and how they weren't paying him. And it was they sent it in the mail, sent it to not his address. So he was please cancel that check. Then he tried getting them to deposit it. And then at that point they owed him a couple $1,000s because they were so far behind. And then I guess the company that they sent money through was this doesn't seem legit. They thought it was a scam. And so his parents were you got to give us that money because we know you have money. And so, yeah, then he paid them. And it was just those 2 weeks they were you have strict.
Okay.
Which is weird because his mom's don't be spending money because you owe us money, but they're not ever really. He said it wasn't really his mom, it's more of his dad on him, but his dad's also an accountant, so kind of stingy.
Okay.
To be real with y'all.
So for the 2 weeks, was that when he hurt his back when he fell?
Yeah, it pretty much started right after he fell, because they can just say Cat can't come over. It was a part of the recovery and hey, pay us back, because he fell down the stairs, hit his head twice, bruised his ribs, had to wear a neck brace. They were obviously concerned and didn't want him doing a lot. So I think his dad was, I don't know if he drove him to the hospital or called an ambulance. I think I have a picture of them together there.
Do you know when he fell?
Yes, June 17th. Before 1:42, because that's around the time this picture was taken.
He was just going down the stairs and fell?
He was on the phone with his boss who was telling him to hurry up to his computer, so he was running down the wooden stairs with socks.
Ah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, here he is in all his glory.
How did his doctor's appointment go on Monday or Tuesday?
Not the Monday.
Okay.
Not the best. Told him like, the stuttering will go away, but like the numbness is gonna like stay, you know? Because like he hit his head twice. They said like the numbness was from like a hemorrhage or something. And that's when he talked to his HR and he was like, I had to be honest with them, and that's how he lost his SpaceX job.
How was his childhood? Has he ever talked to you about it?
I mean, he grew up, I think until like elementary school, he was in Madison. Then they went to Sheboygan area by Plymouth. Went to Plymouth High School. Went to States for swimming. Swimming since a kid. That's why he has flipper feet. Did soccer. His mom has 5 photo album of each kid. Mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she drove him to every swim meet, every soccer game, every school event she was there. Helped make the t-shirts and the flyers. Like, Eagle Scout, Boy Scout, went to prom with Miss Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Popular kid.
When did Chandler start showing concern for his parents not being back?
Like, Monday.
Monday?
Yeah. Like, it's unusual to not get text messages from his mom. Or his, like, dad, kind of. Like, his dad will send pictures of the cabin. Or, like, his mom will text him updates or something. Like, Bart caught a fish. Send a picture of Bart.
So they went to the cabin on Friday morning, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
They sent him any updates during the weekend?
I thought it was Saturday they sent a text, but he said it was Sunday that they got to the lake, is when they got the text.
Okay.
I thought it was Saturday.
Sure.
He said Sunday.
So why was he concerned on Monday if he just got the text yesterday? Or the day before?
Supposed to be home Monday night. His parents are usually, like, on time, but, like, it was like they'll be back, you know? And then, like, they're supposed to be back early Tuesday morning if they didn't make it back Monday night. It's like, his dad's very punctual.
Okay.
So, and, like, his mom was supposed to work Tuesday.
Okay.
And, like,
But Monday y'all went to the farm.
He went to the farm.
Okay.
He went to my house after. I didn't go to the farm with him.
Okay.
But he talked with my mom and her fiance.
So you don't think there's any way that Chandler's involved in the disappearance?
No, I told Liz that, like, if it's Chandler, I'm going to be severely mentally fucked up after this. Like,
Okay.
I just can't see it being him. Like,
If it was, would you help him?
no, I'm sorry. Excuse my French. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, no. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't stand blood. Like, blood scares me. Like, dead bodies, like, I was good at dissections, but, like, that's animals. But, like, people, especially, like, Mr. and Mrs. Halderson, I'm sorry, that's, like, different levels of fucked up.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry that I'm freaking out now, but, like, no.
Fine.
Like, like, no.
So you had nothing to do with their disappearance?
No.
You don't think Chandler did?
No.
Do you think anybody, Mitchell, do you think he would have anything to do with it?
No, I just can't see people wanting to hurt them. Like, that's the thing.
Okay.
That's why we're so worried. Like, we don't know who would do this to them. Like,
Okay.
Parts of us are like wishing like that they're just at a casino blowing all their money and they're gonna be in debt or something. Like
They got gambling before?
not that I'm aware of.
This is just a wishful thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have been keeping up with the media. I haven't been watching any of the trials for my own mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And he was catching me up, and like when the Wisconsin River was mentioned, we were mulling over it. I was. And I recalled like taking a screenshot of him near the Wisconsin River because we share Snapchat locations with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he like wasn't responding to me. He always snaps me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have it putting him there at July 3rd at like in the morning.
Okay.
Because I was at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know you have pictures from that, like those days
Mm-hmm.
from when I gave my phone, but
Mm-hmm.
I just told him about it and he's like, well, they'll take anything.
And that was my suggestion then. So as she said, I've told her to stay away from media, not talk to anybody about, basically she has no life. I've told her from the last time she saw Krista and Bart till he was arrested. I mean,
Okay.
there's just nothing anybody needs to know that I'm aware of. And so she was mulling it as I was explaining, and she's like, oh my gosh, and pulled this up and showed me. She's got a GPS on the phone. Go ahead and get it.
It's from Snapchat. I don't know if you use that, but that's him by the Wisconsin River off of Gulf Road.
Okay.
And that's
It's got a timestamp
8:58
on it. Okay.
in the morning.
Sure.
And then my phone always tells me what day it is. So it's July 3rd, 8:58 a.m.
Okay.
And it placed in there 4 minutes before, so 54.
Okay. Have you been to that spot? Do you know?
I don't know if it's that specific spot, but we used to swim on the Wisconsin River.
Okay.
And like it's one of the spots we would just go to. And like I've only been there like maybe 3 times.
Okay.
But he's gone swimming there a couple times.
This revelation exposed Chandler's location in close proximity to the Wisconsin River, as gleaned from his Snapchat activity. The consequential GPS data pinpointed the exact location of Krista's remains.
But they ask him, and he's at the house, and they ask him and his girlfriend to come downtown with them. And they do. And that girlfriend, Kat, is in one room, and Chandler is in another. Chandler, and you'll see this, we'll play it, for over an hour meets with police, and again regurgitates this odd story of his parents with this missing couple in a random car, going places that no one really knew. Where Kat, in the other room, she's vomiting information to the police. Literally, vomiting at times. But also vomiting information in terms of she has her phone out. She's giving them pictures. She's providing every single detail she can because she'll tell you when she testifies. She's one of these people that watches these crime shows. And she knows when someone's missing, you got to exclude the people closest to him first. And she thought, that's what we got to do. Chandler didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't have anything to do with this. We got to get to the people who did. And the first step is we got to exclude us. She didn't for a second think that Mr. Halderson had done anything wrong. She thought she was with him most of the weekend. Kat meets with police not just once, but multiple times. And in one of these meetings, she says, you know what was weird? Is this weekend, when I was with Chandler, while his parents were at the cabin, I left the house early one day, on Saturday, in fact, Saturday, July 3rd. And she says, he told me he was going to do chores that morning around the house. But when I looked at my Snapchat, I saw his location was in a weird spot. If you don't know, on Snapchat, you can set it up so that other people can see exactly where you are. A GPS tracker on you at all times, if you will. Chandler had that set up with his girlfriend. And she goes, it was so weird where he was. I took a screenshot of it on my phone. And that's what it showed. But she said, at 8:58 in the morning, when he was supposed to be doing chores on Saturday, July 3rd, I thought it was strange that he was in what appears to be a forest on the banks of the Wisconsin River near Prairie du Sac. The police took that. They identified immediately where that location was, just based on looking at it. That's a bridge. Couldn't be hard. Out they go. The drones go up, the dogs go out, the search team starts searching. very quickly, and I promise this is as far as the photos will go, they find the remains of Krista Halderson. Now, when I say Krista Halderson, I have to qualify that as well. We found her legs. One complete leg, then somewhat farther away in another bush, a foot, a thigh, but the same pattern. Crudely cut apart, what appears to be handsaws, axes, things of that sort. No more of Krista Halderson that's identifiable to her will ever be found. She's just those two legs. At this point, police thought, this is just a strange location. Why would Chandler be out there? He'd been out there before. They started talking to people, including girlfriends of his in the past, friends of his, and they say, yeah, Chandler really liked this location out on the Wisconsin River. He'd go there all the time. It's where he'd go swimming. When his friends came into town, that was the secret swimming spot. And one friend even said, you know what? Last year he sent me a picture while he was out there. Kind of shirtless, hanging from a tree with a machete. I don't know. Didn't have a lot of significance at the time when the police saw it, but eventually someone realized, the tree looks unique. Interesting V pattern right there. The hollowness of the tree as it goes down. The way in which 5 of those branches branch off. And eventually one of the detectives realizes why. Something clicked. It was the exact location he ditched his mother's remains. That's about 100 feet away.
This revelation exposed Chandler's location in close proximity to the Wisconsin River, as gleaned from his Snapchat activity. The consequential GPS data pinpointed the exact location of Krista's remains, conclusively implicating Chandler in the eyes of law enforcement. With the investigation now in full swing, law enforcement methodically traversed the Halderson residence, a place that once encapsulated familial love, now transmuted into a chilling crime scene. The meticulous forensic examination laid bare a foreboding path of blood traces in the basement, coupled with bone fragments discovered within the confines of the fireplace. As investigators unveiled the gruesome scene, a barbaric and nightmarish image of what transpired on that dreadful 4th of July weekend began to take shape. Investigators swiftly unearthed a chilling sequence of events. On July the 1st, 2021, between 3 and 5 p.m., Bart and Chandler were gearing up for an in-person meeting with Madison College administrators, an engagement Chandler had successfully thwarted for nearly a year. Notably, after Bart's conversation with Omar Job, he directly contacted the Madison College administration office. Amid preparations to depart, Chandler abruptly discharged a Russian-made SKS rifle at his unsuspecting father, striking him from behind in his scalp. In the ensuing haste, Chandler strategically text-messaged his mother, ostensibly requesting she purchase additional sodas on her way home. Detectives postulate that this ploy was orchestrated to buy time for Chandler to arrange and prepare for his mother's arrival as she returned home from work. Tragically, upon Krista's return home, it is surmised that a similar, ominous fate befell her. Later that night, Chandler did the unthinkable and began dismembering his parents with a gruesome arsenal of axes, saws, and knives found in his basement. Callously denying them the solace of a dignified funeral or a unified resting place, Chandler dispersed their remains across Dane County. From public lands to farms, from garbage cans to rivers, every ditch became a potential repository for the horrifying aftermath of his heinous deeds, said Dane County Deputy District Attorney William Brown.
And the police start searching. When I say searching, you're going to hear about searches of the house, searches of this farm, searches of this property. You're going to hear about searches of landfills and ponds and ditches all across Dane County. But one of the things they started searching was, what was this guy doing on his phone that weekend? And oddly enough, most of what they found was nothing. Either Chandler hadn't Googled anything all weekend, except for the 8th, or he had deleted his search history. You'll never know. But remember, he was arrested on July 8th, taken to the police station, and that's where they told him, hey man, we know what's going on. So meaning, while he was still on his phone on July 8th, he was still telling everyone his parents were missing. Not just the police. This kid was standing in his front lawn giving media interviews to all the local media outlets about the cabin and the unknown couple and the unknown car. He was going door to door in his neighborhood. My parents are missing. Can you help me out? Do you have any security cameras, by the way? And you'll hear from these neighbors. Some of them were so weirded out by what was going on that they secretly recorded those conversations. One of them, you'll hear, was a man who'd only been retired as a detective with the City of Madison Police for about a month. He recorded his conversation with Mr. Halderson. But while he's doing this that morning, what's he Googling? This is what he's Googling. Body found, Wisconsin. Woman's body found, Wisconsin. Wisconsin dismembered body found. We'll come back to the next two. Dead body found in Wisconsin. Body found in Milwaukee River. He's searching for whether they found his parents. And you'll hear in this case, he's starting to search because he's starting to get worried because the amount of police in his neighborhood has been ramping up and up and up because unbeknownst to him, they're finding his parents' remains. And you'll hear that while this is going on, while he's Googling these things, he's frantically calling police officers. Hey, why are there more cops in my neighborhood? Calls this guy, Brian Shunk. He records him. What's going on? There's more cops. Did something happen? Did you find something? The middle ones, State versus Peter Capuzzo. Probably means nothing to everyone. It meant nothing to me when I first saw it. The name rung a bell, and I wondered why. Not only does it show he Googled State versus Peter Capuzzo, it showed that he clicked on a link on the Wisconsin court's website and read something. What he read was a legal case, much like this one is the State versus Chandler Halderson. The State versus Peter Capuzzo, though, was a case that made it to the Court of Appeals based on some legal technicalities about a man who dismembered part of his family members and threw their bodies in the river. So at the same time, Chandler Halderson is going door to door in his neighborhood, crying about his parents being missing, talking to the local news, telling sheriff's deputies, signing documents saying they're missing. He's conducting legal research to get himself out of today so that today never happens. Now, when I started with that calendar a while ago, and I said the police were initially thrown off because of one thing, and that was this text message from Krista. And it's real. I'll tell you that text message is in all the search warrant returns from US Cellular. It's on the phone that we were able to search. We're not able to search every phone, but some of them are. Made it safely. Can't get anything through, though. Yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade. Be home Monday night, Tuesday. Love you lots. Sent on the 4th of July. So the police started looking into that. And the first thing they found was White Lake. The parade was on July 3rd. Remember, the 4th of July this year was on a Sunday. So everyone celebrated on Saturday. So they started thinking, well, how the hell did this message get sent? So they searched the Halderson home, where Chandler was. And in the garage, under a shelf, in a shoe, wrapped in aluminum foil, was his mother's phone, along with her driver's license. Police would later subpoena the records from US Cellular, the cell phone carrier, covers Chandler and the family. And they would look into what cell towers were being used when that message was sent. If you didn't know, all of you probably have cell phones. At any time, your phone is pinging off of different cell towers. It's not always the same. As you sit here, half of you might be using one tower and half of you might be using another. It's based on the workload of those towers. You'll hear about that. But it's generally an approximate area of where you are. That message on July 4th, Krista there is in pink, Chandler's in green. The message was sent from the Halderson home on July 4th. Chandler sent it to himself. So at this point, the investigators began to wonder, and perhaps you're beginning to wonder how the evidence will come out. How does this happen? How does this kid, with everything in the world going for him, promising new jobs, school, a girlfriend that loves him, willing to move across the country for him, or even physically, kid who just suffered this major concussion, was unable to use his legs for the most part. How does this happen? And what you'll learn, it happens because none of these things are true. He wasn't going to Madison College. He wasn't studying renewable resource engineering. The people at American Family Insurance, they'd never even heard of him. There's no indication he'd ever even applied for a job, much less had any job at SpaceX. The apartment he told his girlfriend he'd rented and the car he'd bought, none of that was real. The Madison police, they don't even have a scuba diving team. Neither does the DNR. And this concussion he apparently suffered, he did go to the hospital. You'll hear from the doctor who was there. He said, yeah, he came in, he reported that he hit his head falling down the stairs. I diagnosed him with a concussion. Gave him a neck brace on the way out, told him he could use it if he needed it. But none of the things that Chandler reported to other people, the leg weakness, his inability to move, drive, travel, none of that was real. And given what you're going to find out in this case, you may conclude at the end of it, he never suffered any fall at all. What you may conclude is that it was all made up. Now, police started looking into all of these lies. Because how does a person who looks so promising, was able to convince so many people of his success, how are you able to keep this up? How are you able to catfish your family, your girlfriend, your brother, your friends? And they started to find things around the Halderson home in the email accounts of Bart and Krista Halderson, in the email accounts of Chandler Halderson. When they talk about American Family Insurance, the first big lie Chandler was making up, again, the people at American Family Insurance, you'll hear them testify, they're directors of human resources. You never worked there, never worked for any of their affiliates, never worked for any of the companies that are associated with them. Chandler had been claiming to work there for a year, but he never had any money. And his father was an accountant, so his father would ask him questions pretty much daily. Why don't you have any money? Why haven't you paid any rent? And Chandler spun an amazing web of lies. First it was, well, I'm a salary guy, but they were accidentally paying me hourly, so they just held my paychecks until they fixed it. Then it was, well, I gave them the wrong direct deposit info. Then it kind of shifted eventually. And he said, well, they were gonna pay me, but now the amount is so much, they gotta pay me so much money that when they deposited in the bank, they thought it was fake. And police started to find emails like this. This from Tom Selznick, a guy at American Family Insurance in Northeast, remote human resources guy. Describing this, you're registered as salary, but you're making hourly. And these emails would go back and forth with Chandler and the HR person, and eventually he'd forward them to his father. But in the way a parent looks at their child as maybe telling the truth is not the way that you as jurors have to look at this. You, like the police, maybe have to take a more critical look at emails like this. And for one, notice, why is the guy who works at Human Resources at American Family Insurance using a Proton Mail generic email address? Why is the guy who's the Human Resources manager spelling the word resources wrong, saying he's the Human Recourses manager? It's comically fake. He emailed himself back and forth, trying to explain why he didn't have any money, and he forwards it to his dad. Now here's where the story gets maybe a little more complex. Having a fake job solves a lot of riddles in your life. No one's hassling you to get a new job. No one's hassling you to do chores all day. The problem is, if your dad works from home, if he was an accountant, for instance, which he was, and which he did, you actually have to wake up early every day and go to work. So there he was. Messages between Bart and Chandler. Hey, are you up for your meetings? Yeah. Over and over again. So Chandler woke up. But he had nothing to do all day because his job was pretend. And so he sat on his computer playing video games. And I'm not against people playing video games. I'm a guy myself. People play video games. But video games, if you don't know, and some of you are of an age where you do, and some of you are an age where you don't, are a much more social thing than they used to be. When you play video games, you don't just sit on Nintendo 64 and play Mario by yourself. You're playing role-player games with people from around the world. And who's up early in the morning when Mr. Halderson had to wake up to attend his fake work meetings? People in the military who are stationed overseas. They speak English, they're American, but they're on a different time schedule. They're on his time schedule. Most people here probably play video games at night during weekdays. But every day, Mr. Halderson was able to wake up and find a group of friends to play video games with online, one of which was stationed in Germany. This friend was a guy named Andrew Smith. Now, Mr. Smith, Mr. Halderson became kind of best friends. They would talk all the time. They communicated in this video game all the time. And Mr. Smith, he'll testify, he's coming up here, lives down south, he's back in the US. He'll tell you that Chandler really liked an SKS rifle when they'd play some of these shooting games. It was just something he liked. Not a big deal, there's nothing wrong with that. But this past summer, about a month before the murders of Bart and Krista Halderson, this online friend, Andrew Smith, comes to visit Mr. Halderson and in fact stays at the home with Bart and Krista. This is a picture of Mr. Smith in that perhaps crudely designed yellow shirt. That's Mr. Halderson. It's the only photo we have of them on that visit. You'll learn that Mr. Smith had gotten out of the military. He was done with it. But you also learn that he really likes guns. Like, he really likes guns. And he knew his friend liked SKS rifles. So when he visited him this year in June, he brought with him a gift. The SKS rifle that was found about 100 yards from Bart Halderson's body. Now, you'll meet Mr. Smith and you'll probably concur with me after meeting him. He's not really probably a paperwork kind of guy. And so when he gave the gun to Mr. Halderson, he wanted to document that he transferred the gun, but he wasn't going to fill out any paperwork. So he just took the serial number of the gun, he put Mr. Halderson's driver's license next to it, and snapped a picture on his phone. There's a clear picture of that. But that serial number matches the gun found in the barn 100 yards from Bart Halderson's body. And before Mr. Smith left, he decided he would gift his friend something else, which was about 400 rounds of high-powered ammunition.
The trial unfolded with the assertion that Halderson initially sought to dispose of his parents' bodies through incineration in the family fireplace. However, unbeknownst to Chandler, home fireplaces lack the capability to reach the necessary temperatures for reducing remains to ash. Subsequently, prosecutors contended that he shifted to a contingency plan, scattering remains across Dane County in a desperate bid to conceal the sinister aftermath of his actions.
What the evidence will show is Mr. Halderson took items from around the house and began cutting apart his parents. Saw blades covered in Bart and Krista's blood. An axe, Bart and Krista's blood. Hand saws, things of that sort, covered in Bart and Krista's blood. He cleaned the house as best he could, and you'll hear about that. But still, blood spatter found of Bart and Krista's blood around the house. And he had a plan. It wasn't a well-thought-out plan, but he had one. And that was he was going to burn the remains in the family fireplace there in the house. So it's July 1st. And if any of you remember, 4th of July weekend's pretty hot this year. People in the neighborhood thought it was a little bit weird that someone's fireplace was going on. They smelled stuff. One person, this neighborhood's full of retired cops, but one retired cop said, I smelled like a barbecue, smelled like a pig roast. And he said that just not knowing what it was at the time, talking to the police. And that night, a neighbor who had a security camera behind the Halderson home, way far away, was able to catch something. Because it was pitch black at night, it was able to catch just a little glimpse of all the windows in the Halderson house. We have an expert that's going to come in who works with video and light analysis. And he's going to tell you, he was able to figure out which window that was. And the window it was that he was looking at in that camera footage that kind of just piqued his attention was the window by the fireplace. And for many hours over the course of that night, the light flickered, came on, died down, on, down. But in the early morning hours the next day, he'd been up all night doing this. Because you'll learn, you really can't burn human remains. Your home fireplace is not going to get hot enough to do that. It takes an extraordinary amount of heat. If you go to like a crematorium, you're inducing it with oxygen, chemicals, not a residential fireplace. But eventually, in the middle of the night, the fire started going well. It appeared that air was being pumped into it, and you'll see when they searched the Halderson home, there was in fact a fan found right next to the fireplace, next to a tape measure, trying to make sure the remains were the right size as they went in the fireplace. But that light at one point grew and grew and grew, and it got very bright in one room. And then all of a sudden, the kitchen light came on, and then all the lights went out. I don't know if anyone's ever taken a hot Pyrex pan out of the stove and put water in it, or dumped hot water on your windshield on your car in the winter, but it explodes the glass. The evidence in this case will show that what happened was the fire had gotten out of control, burning these human remains. Human fat was rendering out. It was igniting. So Chandler threw water on it. But when you throw water on your residential fireplace, you break the glass. And that's exactly what happened. Just above that broken glass panel, which is clearly shattered, you see the paint kind of bubbled off from the heat. This is in the search of the home some week later. Fireplace is clearly used. The police noticed something interesting about this photograph, which is, despite being clearly used, the logs are rebuilt. Someone had cleaned out all the ashes and rebuilt it. Clean logs, newspaper, one burnt piece in the middle. But what stuck out to police right away was that little rock right there. They thought, what is that? You'll hear from the people who collected this evidence. You'll hear from an arson specialist from the Department of Justice, a guy named Bill Boswell, who come in. You'll hear from a forensic anthropologist, a doctor named Cristina Figueroa Soto, who will tell you, we were all interested in what that was because it was out of place. So they pulled it off and they put it on one of these fancy police deals. And the forensic anthropologist took one look at it and she said, oh, this is a human skull. He had burned his parents' heads in that fireplace. Later, the police would go through the ash trap of that fireplace, and they would find human remains. Facial bones, the knee bones, which, because we found Krista's legs, by deduction, had to be Bart. All in the ash trap of that fireplace. They were all cataloged. Now, burnt remains can't be tested for DNA. There's no biological material left. But they're able to tell it's human based on the structure of the bone. And you'll hear from the anthropologist who will talk about that. So that's what happened on July 1st. Now you're going to hear about all of those days in between Bart and Krista dying at 3 o'clock on the 1st, all the way through the police report. But to summarize, Chandler stayed up all night, that night of the 1st. Obviously, things weren't going well, burning his parents' remains, so the next day, perhaps not having slept, he walked into Fleet Farm at 7:21 a.m. to buy a tarp. He's on video. He knew his girlfriend was spending the night that night, so he spent the whole day cleaning, but he's sending her text messages, which you will see throughout the day, asking her to bring him hydrogen peroxide and a mop, because he still needed to clean up. The next day, Saturday, July 3rd, 2021, his girlfriend leaves early in the morning. That's the day she snaps that picture of him out by the Wisconsin River dumping off his mom's remains. Spends the rest of the day hanging out. But when he goes home and says he's going to bed that night, this young man who supposedly couldn't drive or carry heavy objects, his phone records show that he's up near the Wisconsin River in Portage. As if you're driving the interstate up to the Dells, right when you cross the Wisconsin River, off in the state land there to the right. For about an hour, in the middle of the night, the police tried to search that area. It was impossible with the currents. Whatever remains were thrown in there are lost forever. July 4th, 2021, this is the day he texts himself. Spends the day with his girlfriend's family, goes to their farm to use the pool. That's the day he says, hey, can I come back tomorrow? Goes to some fireworks. He's living a normal life. No mention of his parents. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of cases end with the murder. This one, it's just a small piece of the puzzle. None of the things that happen after and none of the things happened before make any sense without knowing the murder happened on a specific day at a specific time. But the evidence in this case you'll find is overwhelming. Chandler Halderson killed his parents on July 1st, 2021. He cut up their bodies with axes and saws and knives. And he didn't even give them the dignity of having a funeral or even a final resting place in one piece or together. Their remains were scattered across Dane County, in public land, on farms, in garbage cans, in rivers, and perhaps every ditch is a possibility in this county. You'll find the evidence in this case is overwhelming.
In the September of 2021, Chandler Halderson entered a plea of not guilty to the charges of first-degree intentional homicide, dismembering and concealing the bodies of his parents. The ensuing legal proceedings unfolded as the trial commenced in January of 2022. Over the course of 7 days, prosecutors meticulously presented a compelling case against Chandler, weaving together both physical and circumstantial evidence that pointed to his involvement in the alleged crimes against 50-year-old Bart Halderson and 53-year-old Krista Halderson. Chandler's defense team, while vehemently denying the homicide charges, left a door ajar to the possibility of guilt concerning the dismemberment charge.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. He is not guilty of those crimes. Chandler Halderson is 23 years old, young man. He likes to play video games, play with his dogs, hang out with his girlfriend, and he lived peacefully in his parents' home. He was just a normal kid. He is a normal kid. So what did happen? What happened to the Haldersons? What happened in that Halderson's home? Remember those questions. They won't be answered at the end of this trial. Remember those questions at the end of this trial when you have to decide whether the state has proven to you that Chandler Halderson killed his parents, because they simply don't know what happened. They just told you what they think happened. We heard a lot of detail of the before and a lot of detail of the after. But one or two simple sentences, and then he killed his parents. The evidence will show you that there is a gap of evidence when it comes to that time frame. And your job is to listen to this evidence as jurors. Listen to the evidence from the perspective of a juror, not from the perspective of a story corroborator, corroborating the state's story. The role of being a juror is a different role than being a person. And that may sound strange, but it is. I left law school a really different person. I learned how to be very logical, to apply facts, first to assemble facts, and then to apply these facts to the law as I learned it. Facts, laws, and rules, plus logic. That's your role here as a juror. The story that you just heard assumes that Chandler Halderson killed his parents. You cannot assume anything. An assumption is reaching a conclusion without knowing all the information. A presumption is a principle that we all must follow. We must presume him innocent, and we must keep that presumption unless and until the state proves every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. But you must find a way, like I did in law school, to put your emotions, put your feelings aside, and use the logical part of who you are. Be a juror. Assemble the facts, know the law, and apply the logic without letting your feelings or emotions get in the way. Lack of evidence is evidence just as much as any evidence that is presented to you in the courtroom. Look for what's missing. Look for alternate explanations. Because the second thing I want to tell you is that evidence of one thing is not necessarily evidence of another thing. So you have to avoid jumping to conclusions. We already talked a little bit about proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What that means is you must resist guessing. You must resist speculation. You must resist storytelling. And only convict when it's proven, or if it's proven, which it won't be, beyond a reasonable doubt.
They floated the notion that Chandler may have stumbled upon his parents already deceased and, in a misguided decision, opted to cremate the remains himself. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the defense concluded their case without summoning a single witness to vouch for Chandler's innocence. After a 2-hour deliberation, the jury rendered its verdict. Chandler Halderson was found guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. However, a twist in the legal narrative unfolded in April of 2023, when 2 of Halderson's convictions associated with concealing his parents' remains were vacated on procedural grounds.
Break for Chandler Halderson tonight. 2 of his convictions were thrown out.
Halderson received a life sentence after a jury found he intentionally murdered his parents. The crimes followed Chandler Halderson lying about attending school and working.
Tony Galley reports Halderson's bid to set aside his guilt has only just begun.
During the hearing, convictions for mutilating the bodies of his parents, Bart and Krista, are dropped. As a judge rules, those charges should have only been an option for jurors if they had not decided Halderson dismembered the corpses with body parts found at the Windsor home and in rural areas.
Obviously, the main counts are still in place, and Chandler wants to appeal that, and we'll be working on that appeal in the future.
Halderson attorney Michael Covey's formal opinion to the court is there's no merit to a Halderson appeal, but the final call comes from appellate judges, and Chandler Halderson himself could offer reasons there were flaws with the trial that gave him life in prison.
Despite this legal development, Halderson remains incarcerated, serving a life sentence without parole for the heinous crimes he committed against those who trusted him most, his family. Chandler Halderson's veneer of success masked a complex tapestry of deception. Despite the trust bestowed upon him by his parents, extended family, girlfriend, and friends, The reality was that he had prematurely abandoned his college pursuits after a mere semester. His purported part-time job in insurance and claimed affiliation with SpaceX were nothing more than meticulously crafted illusions, shielding those in his orbit from the intricate lattice of untruths he had spun. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the loved ones of Bart and Crazed Halderson. May they rest in peace. In truth, Chandler, a 23-year-old residing under the familial roof, immersed himself in video games, grappling with the uncertainties that often accompany the transitional phase into adulthood. A rite of passage familiar to us all. Yet, instead of embracing the natural ebb and flow of life's journey, Chandler harbored an inexplicable compulsion to present a facade of having it all figured out. A misguided adherence to the mantra, "fake it until you make it," guided his actions. In doing so, he overlooked the profound treasures within his grasp. A devoted girlfriend enamored with him, loving parents fervently wishing him well, and the freedom to navigate the ebbs and flows of life, learning and growing in the process. Chandler's tale serves as a poignant reminder that in our pursuit of perceived perfection, we risk overlooking the genuine blessings already woven into the fabric of our lives. Thanks for watching Otherwise True Crime. Please like and subscribe, and don't be afraid to sound off in the comments. Until next time, show love.